Okay, part 2 is all about creating a graph using the data you just collected in the table. So the first step into making a graph using your data is to highlight all of your data in the data table, including the titles. Do not include any extra coin flip rows if you got to 0 before completing the 15 coin flips. So over here is my data table. Okay, the only portions I want to highlight are the titles that I provided you, and then all of your data until you've gotten to 0. I got to 0 before I got to 15, so I'm not going to include these rows of the table. One important thing I want to note is I do not have any units in my graph. Typically, I like to tell you to include your units. However, in order for our graph to turn out correctly, we do not need units. So if you wrote pennies next to every single value, proud of you, but delete them or else your graph is going to turn out incorrect. Next, you're going to click on Insert Chart, and it should automatically generate your graph. I'm going to just make mine a little bit smaller here and shift it to the right of our data table here so we can see both. Now, there's not much you need to do except a couple of things. One, you need to change the title. And then 2, you need to change the text size of your y-axis title. So to change the title, you click on the title, and in the title text box, just type in a title that you think fits. So I'm going to make my title Radiometric Dating Model Penny Lab. You can totally choose my title if you want, or you can come up with your own. Right now, you can see just by looking at it, my title doesn't fit completely, so I'm going to change the text font size here. So right now it's on auto, and I'm just going to adjust. 10 is a little bit small, so let's see, 16. And I'm also going to make it in the center just to make it look a little bit more appealing. You can totally make it bold. You can change the color of things if you want. Go ahead, but otherwise I just want to make sure you change your title and that it fits. The titles of the axes should be the same that was in the data table, which is totally fine. You don't need to mess with those, but you should notice that on the side your y-axis label doesn't fit. So click on that. Don't change the title. However, I do want you to change the font size so that it fits. Now, right now, it's not completely fitting because my graph is pretty small. However, if I make it bigger, it should start to fit in there with a smaller text size. There we go. Right, and then other than that, it should be good. The one other thing that I'm going to change for mine is the grid lines, and specifically on the x-axis. So, horizontal axis, the minor grid line, I'm going to include ones in there just so that I could see every coin flip. So for example, 1, which is in between 0 and 2, we had about, and I can click on this here, it looks to be about 60-ish, and I know that from my data table, actually specifically it's 64. But it just gives me a better idea of exactly how my, where on my graph certain data points are located. After that, you are pretty much done. Now remember, do not turn this portion of the assignment in today because tomorrow's portion you will need to reflect on this. It is a 2-day assignment, so tomorrow you will be able to turn both portions of the assignment in.